Welcome back to Size Previews. As always, I'm Lee Matthews, joined by Chris Binns, so sit back, relax, and let's get into it. It feels like I've not done one of these for a while, actually.
I mean, we did have a big previews event, but we've not actually done a show for a good couple of months now.
It hasn't, so let's start today. And this is a shoe I've been waiting for a long time. We've had the sample in our office. It's been way too small for me, but finally, we've got a pair I can wear.
Yeah. And they are bang on the money, aren't they?
It is. So obviously this is the Army Trainer, iconic. And I mean, what people will recognise probably instantly is it's on that same tooling you'll see in the market right now on other few models.
Yep. I mean, this for me is a great trainer. Those who know, it's been in and out of the market in the UK, but it's not been in the market for a while over here. However, this is kind of born out of a trip that you had to Japan recently.
Yeah, so this shoe in Japan itself is huge, and it always has been. And I think from our side, we've seen the trend move to Tito. We've seen the likes of Samba, Gazelle, and Handball fly. So it's like if you're wanting something a little bit different, a little bit more purist, let's say, Army Trainer is the way to go.
Exactly, that's what I'd say. 100%. It gives you that clean look. It gives you that. It's a bit more classy. I mean, there is a certain kind of big fashion house as well that uses this silhouette, so it's quite similar to that, and it kind of feels towards that more high-end, easy to wear, put it with any outfit, but also has got a bit of heritage.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm seeing that shoe, I mean, the Margiela shoe we referenced, we're seeing it out there a lot right now. People are wearing it, and I think these two are very contemporary colours, very wearable as well. I think the contrast in sock liner and lace makes a massive difference, and I think the materials as well take it up to another level.
Exactly, and this for us is just, I'm going to give something away here, but this for us is just the start of a journey, I would say.
Yeah.
There might be some more kind of iterations coming further along the line, but I mean, I ain't committed to anything too much. I kind of blah.
Yeah, you've pretty much said there's two more coming next year, but I mean, there is, so it's fine. So next up, we've actually got our first ever project with a brand.
Yeah.
And we very rarely say that, actually.
No.
So, I mean, this is a really special one for us, and it's the Salomon XT-6 Expanse. And I mean, I'm really proud of this one.
I mean, it's something completely different to what I can't think of any other XT6s. I know it's an Expanse as well, but I can't think of any other XT6s that have a similar kind of colour blocking or even have that kind of extra level of storytelling. And again, similar to the Army Trainer, I think this was born out of a visit you had to Annecy.
Yes, I mean, firstly, the shoe itself, what I really like about the XT-6 Expanse is you get everything from the XT-6, but you get an added layer of texture, materials, and just that tactile nature of the touch and feel. You can kind of do a little bit more with the shoe. You can play with it. It's not that traditional one piece you get on an XT-6, which I do love, by the way. But having more layers, it means you can play with the materials a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go to Annecy, which is where the brand are based, it's incredible. And we almost love to give something back to the brand and to the provenance of the DNA of where that brand is from, to almost celebrate it through the shoe.
Yeah.
So this shoe effectively is the start of a series of exploring Annecy through different vehicles, different ways. I mean, this was just born out of almost like we're going to visit the town now, we're going to go around the city, and this is the hotel, but next time it might be something else in the city, in the town.
And I mean, like we always do with everything, we always give it that extra level of storytelling. So it's not just a colourway, it's not just a couple of colours on a shoe. When you get hold of the shoe, you've got this kind of woven label down the tongue, you've got the footbed again, so we've really brought it to life. But you can see in there, you've got the footbed there as well with the graphic on it, so we've really kind of dialed up those details on these shoes and really, and again, I don't think that I've seen anything else XT6 that's kind of done that. I mean, you might be able to correct me.
No, I mean, so the XT6s, they're either super clean, like your triple black, triple white, or the other end of the spectrum. I think what's really nice about this is just how playful they feel as well. And we're going to finish the episode with the shoe that I think broke the internet of the previous event. And it's obviously a very special one for us. Every time we come together with Nike, it's a special moment, and this is like no other. And it's the Air Max 1 that we're calling Considered, and I mean, it's probably worth just admiring it for a second.
Obviously, I talked about the previews show earlier in the episode, and I think from our side, it was one of the biggest reactions we had across the whole range we showed. I mean, we had some amazing shoes that we're going to talk about in later episodes, but this was the biggest reaction. Like I said, it almost broke the internet. And when you see the shoe, in person, you can understand why. The materials are unbelievable. The textures we've added to the shoe, the colorways, super relevant for the moment.
Yes, the idea obviously for this shoe started about imagining what if a Max 1 had came out when Nike was still doing their considered range, which was almost like that was the pioneering of sustainability back in the day, and it was super, super ahead of its time. And we use the phrase ahead of its time a lot, but genuinely that almost embodies and epitomizes what ahead of its time means. And I think we almost use that as our starting point to say, well, let's interpret a Max 1 through that lens, and then almost take it down a few notches so it becomes super wearable, because some of those shoes were quite aggressive.
I think the one thing I'll point out about this, we obviously, because of how our brief was, and we were asking the guys to do things that had not been done for a long time, it's quite difficult to get to this final shoe. But that you can see that there's been a lot of kind of attention put into it. There's been a lot of thought gone into what materials we use on there, how we bring the blockings together, and it's really paid off, that all that time we spent getting to the final product on this.
I think the Max 1 connoisseurs amongst us will notice some of the real details we've gone to on here, like the mini swoosh, which is obviously important, the color blocking itself, which again is really important. Then also you may notice some of these materials of how they've been used on other Max 1s over the years. Again, this denim one in particular. So there's some real nod backs to the lineage of Air Max 1s over the decades, but also hopefully what we feel will be a super relevant, credible entry from us, almost for the modern day entry into the lineage.
I think it was always important for us because as you said earlier, we've done so many amazing Max 1s throughout the years. It was important for us to get something that can sit alongside those, if not almost be the best version of those.
And that's really hard, because a lot of people reference the Safari Air Max 1 as a grail. It's like, how do you create future grails? And hopefully with this one, in 3 or 4 or 5 years time, we'll be going, do you remember that considered Max 1? And that's what I feel we're on that trajectory of doing that with this one.
100%.
So this one will be coming out very soon, and I think just from actually speaking to the teams and speaking to the people, there's a bit of a buzz around it, so it should be quite a big one. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all the content we've got coming through, and in the meantime, there's our size social channels. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.